Hi, I'm Marilyn Tate, and this is my Module 10 for AEP 880 Cultural Diversity Bullying Prevention. So, first, to summarize the assigned articles, we had 3 essential priorities for school principals. It talked about emphasizing a caring and inclusive environment, which would be you're going to foster a positive school climate. You want to have open, inviting classrooms. You want to make the kids the school a place where the kids want to be, and you want kids to know that you care about them. Also, fostering staff as leaders. It's very important for teachers to take ownership of their classrooms and what they're doing and their leadership responsibilities. And then engage with the community, get with parents, get them involved, let them know what's going on, let them become part of the school, and they're going to be more apt to do what you want them to do with helping with their own children. The next article, how feeling respected transforms a student's relationship to a school. Basically, it says when students feel respected, their behaviors improve, suspension rates lower. They're going to get a sense of school pride. With all of these things, they're going to want to do things to make the people at school feel proud and to be a part of the school as well. So being part of something just automatically means you're going to try harder, I think. Next, we have creating a warm and inclusive classroom environment, planning for all children to feel welcome. In this text, it talks a lot about the classroom environments and how they can affect a student's ability to learn. It refers to not only the climate, the attitudes of the instructor, and the everyone in the people, but the physical makeup of the room as well. It says to foster cooperation and acceptance. So you want kids to know that they're accepted for who they are, and build a climate where they want to work together. And then consider design procedures and self-affirming strategies. So design refers to actually the classroom itself, the makeup. How do you have the rows? Are they just in very formal straight rows? Do you have some alternative seating, things like that, warm colors, even things like that? Procedures, you need to have set procedures, things that the kids are used to every day, things that they can count on. Really, a lot of kids need that. And self-affirming strategies, teaching the kids to feel good about themselves and to know that they can do it. And so basically build your students up is kind of what I thought about that. Then we have strategies for building a productive and positive learning environment. For this one, it talks about positive learning environments increase productivity. Uh, it said in order to get the kids to want to be involved in what you're teaching them, make learning relevant to them. Um, if it's relevant, they're going to be more apt to take part in it. And then teach. You've got to actually teach positive actions and their effects. When you do something good, whether it's for you eat healthy, you eat vegetables and fruit, you're going to be healthy. You do positive things, you treat people right, you're going to get effects, the positive effects for that. You do your schoolwork, you're going to get good grades, all of those things. And then use positive reinforcement and response. When kids do good, celebrate that. It doesn't have to be uh, candy or an actual thing. It can just be your compliments, and kids like it when their teachers are happy and proud of them, and respond to them in positive manners, even sometimes when you don't want to. That's really important. So next, I'm going to go over some of the articles that I chose. One article was bullying in schools, and it really focused on. It mentions learn what bullying is and isn't. Okay, sometimes things aren't as much bullying as much as they're just a kid's upset and they're lashing out. It's more at themselves, and other people might be around. Then establish a safe school environment. Um, you've got to do that. You have to make sure that students feel safe, and they have to know that the adults there are protecting them and making sure that they're okay. And then educate staff and students. You want to go ahead and not just provide PD on bullying and how to deal with it for the staff, but have assemblies do it in classroom setting, but make sure that the students learn about bullying, and understand how to deal with it and who they can go to, and then engage parents as well. When parents are involved, it's going to help because if their child's being bullied or if their child's the bully sometimes. Then the next one was how do we stop bullying in schools? So it says bullies usually come from homes where parents fight and violence is modeled, and this I've seen this a lot. And it really talks about how as educators we can't change that home environment, but what we can do is try to do what we can to help teach our kids at school appropriate behavior. It mentions engaging the parents. Try to get to the parents. A lot of the times, these families, whole families, need counseling, not just these kids. And it says take a multifaceted approach. So involve peers. So other students, counselors, teachers, the principal. Do, let kids talk about, hey, let's show people how to act. You can say, tell kids responding to a bully. Well, a nice way of dealing with that would have been, you know, using kind words, whatever. And then role playing, putting kids in a situation where they get to role play by either being the bully or maybe being bullied. Sometimes, especially younger kids, this is very helpful. Next, we have 6 ways educators can prevent bullying in schools. So first, teach kindness and empathy. This is an overreaching idea to just teach kindness, teach empathy at school. And it really needs to start young, hopefully. Create opportunities for connection. Give the kids opportunities to get to know each other, because if they know each other, know personal things about each other, they're less likely to bully each other, okay? Because it's personal. It says identify gateway behaviors, those things that we see that are leading up, whether it's, staring at someone, calling, names, things like that. It gave the idea of using the arts to create contextual opportunities and conversation starters. So whether it's a story, some literature, poetry, anything like that, songs that we could use, especially a lot of dramas maybe, we could use to start talking about it in the classroom. And then minimize concentric circles in schools. I thought this was interesting. It talked about how teachers can be bullies and students can see that where, and the staff relationships affect students. They might not see outright bullying, but they can see attitudes, and they really take up on those. Then participation in simulations for pre-service and new teachers is really good. So let them practice basically in school or when they're new teachers. Give them some opportunities to practice dealing with different types of bullying situations. The next article was bullying prevention, 5 tips for teachers, principals, and parents. And it talks about 32% of students report being bullied at school. I know there's some different statistics on that. Said bullied students are more likely to bring weapons, get in fights. They're going to suffer mental and physical health problems, and they suffer academically. So it talks about you need to practice what you preach. So listen before talking and reflect before acting. So let's not immediately yell at those kids, and let's talk to them when they do something the way we want them to talk all the time. Assess the extent of the problem. We need to see how far it goes, make sure we know everything. Develop a school-wide code of conduct. You need to do that and have that at the beginning of the year. Let kids know about it. Let parents know about it. Let teachers know about it. Let them know exactly what's expected. And then increase adult supervision. That is at recess, in the hallways during bell time, after school, before school, in the cafeteria. That is, what we would love is to have as much adult supervision as possible. And we know that is difficult a lot of times with staffing. And then conduct bullying prevention activities. And it talked about, it doesn't just have to be assemblies. It could be integrating an arts contest, an art contest where you focus on positive behaviors or some of your expectations for school, but get kids talking about it and understanding what's going on and what's good and what's not good. A lot of times, if kids just start talking, they get together and they realize, wow, this is silly. So data on bullying, there wasn't a lot in these articles. I apologize. But over 1/3 of students report being bullied at school. It says encouraging words increase student engagement. There's no specific data, but I agree with that. And then specifically, black students are 4 times more likely to be suspended than white peers. And so that's something we need to look at. And when we have a certain demographic that's getting in trouble more often, maybe they're gonna just kind of be a little bit more upset. I hate to use the word chip, the phrase chip on their shoulder. Not really that, but they're gonna just almost be expecting I'm gonna get in trouble more, and that's gonna affect their attitude, honestly. And I wouldn't, it's understandable. So, what's missing when bullying occurs? Uh, Generally, there aren't adults present. I mean, because most of the time when adults are present nearby, it's not going to happen. You've got to, if you're in a gym with a bunch of kids and you're across the gym, sure, it can be happening over there because you can't hear what's going on. So adults need to be present and they need to be close. A school code of conduct, oftentimes you'll find that there's not something in place really specific of what's expected. A climate of respect. If you have fostered this climate and you have this school culture where kids just know how to speak respectfully to each other, teachers speak respectfully to each other and to students, and so on, that's going to really cut down on those attitudes where bullying can occur. Meaningful expectations. Have expectations for your students that mean something to them. So don't just tell them what to do, tell them why. Talk about why. Positive relationships, of course. If, kids work together on a science experiment and, they might be kids that never worked together before, but they do work hard together and do something in class, they're going to build those relationships and they're going to be less likely to butt heads or have some kind of bullying type incident occur between them. Adequate counseling personnel. This is something that a lot of schools don't have because of school budgets, adequate personnel, and then, large class sizes, honestly. So, personnel in general. And then strict communicated policies and procedures. So, we do have to have our expectations and our policies and procedures. And then I go on to say adherence to these policies and procedures, follow through. We need to immediately deal with things and we need to do what we say we're going to do. Because if we say, well, okay, we'll let this one slide, why is it not going to happen again? Or another kid's going to say, well, I could do that. What happens when schools prevent and address bullying? Students feel respected and they give respect, and students tend to have empathy for one another. You create a culture of community or a family that discourages bullying. Uh, you're going to have increased attendance and reduced suspensions, and you're going to have increased academic success for a lot of reasons. Kids are in school, they're not worrying about being bullied or concerned about trying to mess with other people, and so many reasons academics goes up, and teachers aren't having to deal with these things, they're getting to teach. And then just school pride in general for everybody increases. So here are my references, and that is my 10. Thank you.